He thought I was gonna miss that. He thought I was gonna miss that. He was like, "Oh, Joe's totally not gonna realize for 5 minutes." No, I got it right away. I was like, "Wait, I don't hear that pleasant echo in my ear." Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the viewers discretion. I am your host, Joe Nierman, aka Good Logic. I hope that you managed to survive. NFL's 2026 championship weekend without getting too badly snowed in. Over here in our local, in my local digs, I got roughly 7 inches or so. 7 inches. 7 real inches. Yeah. And so the snow blowing situation, in case you're wondering, because that actually is impacting. I'm not done because the snow only finished like snowing. I don't snow in the middle. I don't blow in the middle of a storm. That's stupid to me, at least. I'm like, I don't live in a place that we have enough snow that I got to start shoveling in the middle of a storm. So what that means is I wait till the storm is over and then I head on out there and I start blowing. But the problem is that I got like my snowblower basically doesn't really like more than 3 or 4 inches. It loves 3 or 4 inches. It's great there. When you start going with more than 3 or 4 inches, I gotta like sort of angle it up and shove into it and then just back up and then do it again. And it's exhausting. And then there's the second problem. Second problem being that my snowblower's batteries don't really like lasting as long as they probably should. So I basically got my walkway done, shoveled my steps by hand, but I haven't done the driveway yet. Driveway has not yet happened. And the driveway has to happen like tonight because otherwise it's going to get trampled and it's going to be hard and it's going to be frozen. So basically, when I finish here, right now my battery's charging. I'm not sure, they may be charged already, but they should certainly be charged by the time I wrap up over here. My batteries are charging, and then like at 2:30 in the morning, I'm going to be going out and shoveling my walk. That's on the agenda. That basically when I wrap up here and I say the whole, don't eat the bugs things and sign off, then I'm going to be leaving you going out and waking up all my neighbors as I just start zzz, like and trying to clear out my driveway. That's the plan. Then I got to come back inside because I actually share this snowblower with my brother-in-law. Then I got to come back inside, lug my snowblower back into my house, and charge my batteries back up because my brother-in-law has a similar situation with the batteries and the whole thing. So he's supposed to be doing that in the morning. I got to make sure my batteries are charged for him. So that's why I really have to do this at 2:00 in the morning. So yeah, the point is, in case you're wondering, how does that relate to you? Why are you telling us all this, Joe? Like no one cares. Why are you? The reason I'm telling you this is because tonight's goal, which is our usual goal of 15 super chats or more, of $10 or more, not necessarily super chats. We count Rumble Rants, we count locals, we count anything. I'll count Venmo. I'll take Venmo. If Venmo works for you, PayPal, what do I care? Yeah, so if that happens, what I plan on unleashing on you is I got like a whole world of different vids like that just made me like just cry with laughter that I was thinking of sharing with you that I'd like to share with you. So like that's basically that's the carrot that's hanging out there. I don't know if that's going to be enough of a carrot. I'm not sure if that's enough of a carrot for you. I'll throw in there. I'll throw out 5. I'll throw out 5. I'll add 5 new followers. I'll get 5 new followers also. So I'll have that little combo. That's the combo. That's the combo. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, that's okay. I would not have done a show today, but for the fact that you guys bought a show for me last night. I would not have done a show. I was just like, I don't know. I'm tired. I need to finish doing my walk. I would not have done a show. I'm here as per my promise to you last night that I was like, okay, if we make our goal, I'm doing a show tomorrow. So hence I am here doing my show. I'm doing your bidding. I am your obedient servant. So with that, a couple of small things I want to get out of the way quick. This was going around today. I don't know how it happens that clips that are from I don't know, a few weeks ago all of a sudden become viral on one particular day. But this one was going viral. And it is an important thing to remember as we're coming to the end of January. This week, January 2026 is going to expire. We're going to hit February 1st. And there's an important thing that Donald Trump said about February 1st a few weeks back, which is a really interesting thing, and that's this.
Additionally, starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
Now, this is something that I don't know why we're waiting until February 1st. I think this is something we should have had ages ago. Why are we paying money to sanctuary cities? Frankly, I thought you should send an EO. I was like, there should be an EO on January 20th, 2025. Basically says there's no such thing as a sanctuary city. We do not respect or recognize a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state. And maybe even bring see, the question is, if you're going to abolish a sanctuary city, sanctuary state, what does that really mean? It really means bringing an action against a city that's following those policies. What does it mean to be a sanctuary city? It means they set up a policy saying we're not going to work with the government. Now, they're not obligated by law to work with the government. Had they been obligated by law, which they should be, but they certainly can't stand in the way. And I think the Supreme Court has said that they're not obligated by law to work with the federal government. But standing in the way should be a violation of the Supremacy Clause. So what qualifies as working with the government versus actively working against the government? And I think as we're going to see tonight, and we started touching on last night, and we'll see more of it tonight, that we're seeing the state of Minnesota and Minneapolis actively working against the Trump administration. Actively working against them in ways that are just horrific. So there's only so many times you can go to the referee before it's like, okay, don't do that. Don't do that, Jacob Fry. Don't do that, Tim Walz. You sort of want to use that sparingly, especially when you consider that you're probably dealing with people who are judges who are not sympathetic to the Trump administration, by and large, when you're going into Minnesota, even if you're going to federal court. Now, I will tell you, one of the reasons you should take heart is because even some leftist influences are starting to turn on the left. Yes, I know. I'm like, I couldn't believe it either. This is the real Athena K, who has 400,000 followers on, I don't know, one platform or another, which is more than I've ever amassed in any one platform. So good on her. She was Democrat influencer, and this is her now.
It's really sad because I used to be left-leaning when I felt like being on the left made sense to who I was at the time, right? But when I look back, this is not the same party. This party has gone so rogue out of such high emotions, whether that be hatred for Trump or love for feeling like they are a better person, or the, savior of the damned. What does the left stand for?
Virtue signaling.
For today that actually benefits the common American, not the tiny little population of
nice. I like it.
Of random third world minorities, not the 0.1% of the populations, right? I'm talking about the common middle class working American. What does the left advocate for that actually benefits their system? or their personhood, their
No,
life,
no one
their
knows.
family values.
Nobody knows.
Maybe their Christian values, right? Because the left claims to be this inclusive
Christian values. Oh, yes, those Democrats and their famous hardcore Christian values.
party of tolerance, but then only has eyes and a soul for people that don't align with American values. And I can't for the life of me figure out why. It's a Muslim socialist one day, and then it's a Venezuelan drug dealing dictator the next day. You would rather, on the left, defend these people and find ways to morph them into your society than for 1 second say, you know, maybe the right has a point. How do you become so far out of sight? You can actually sit there and defend an actual dictator who has starved tens of millions of people.
The only question I got for you, Athena, I assume that's your real name, is what's making you wake up now? Like seriously, this is what they've been for a long time now.
Children, families. Because again, for 1 second, you can't possibly come out with, yeah, maybe Trump did a good thing. You'd rather choose the bear than a man, but yeah, let's let men into women's spaces. How do you say that in the same breath?
You see, this is something that was going on even before Trump. The whole question about men in women's spaces was coming up near the end of Obama's administration. So it's like, how are you waking up now?
Yeah, we're the more educated party, but
no, you're not. No, you're not. Just because you're city-dwelling folk doesn't mean you're more educated. And educated certainly doesn't mean intelligent. That's for sure.
We're going to side with gang members because we hate our president so much that we'd rather hate him more than we hate you. Gang members, murderers, traffickers will defend fraud because they don't want to give credit where it's due to a right-wing person. How are you more mad at the person that exposed the fraud than the people doing the fraud?
That's an astonishing question. How does that come to be? Unless you're so tilted beyond reason that you've basically entered retardo land.
Left doesn't have one belief today that actually aligns with the commonwealth or the common good of the average common American. And that's not something that they can blame Trump for. You can't blame Trump for the fact that you won't look inward and see, what do I stand for? Does this actually make sense in reality, or am I just saying it to play devil's advocate to the side that I hate? Because that's what it seems like.
There you go. So the real Athena K. People are like, hey, don't think she's so red-pilled yet. No, I agree. It comes in stages, but I'm sure she got a lot of hate for this. I am sure she got a ton of hate for that. And that hate is likely to manifest in her only feeling that much more strongly that they're all in a freaking cult. You have to be in a cult to morph from a position A to position to position cherry blossoms. That's not normal. It's just not normal. Uzan says the point is Joe hates the snow. Should have moved to Florida 2 months ago. Probably true. The carrot is to forcing Joe out is the freezing cold even later and disturbing his poor neighbors. Yes, I guess so. Real Patriot says the juice is loose. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but no Divergent one, I can tell you it goes well. Thank you. A little cold. My toes are cold right now, frankly, but otherwise pretty good. They don't tell you stuff about getting older. They don't tell you these things. Like first, they didn't tell me what day I'm going to turn into a crotchety old man. Has that day passed? Am I a crotchety old man? That's a poll I should put up. Did I become the crotchety old man I used to mock as a child? I think I have to get a Yiddish accent at some point. I think that's definitely in the makings. So they don't tell you when that happens. They don't tell you that you basically end up having to like wake up like 14 times a night, to like to urinate. No one tells you about that. Like, that's not cool. Yeah, they don't tell you about that part. And they don't tell you that, like, you're going to end up at 2 a.m. snow blowing like an idiot. I only found out tonight. That the reason I have a snowblower, and I'll tell you this, I would not have bought myself a snowblower. I would not have bought it. I'm going to give you a little background on the snowblower situation. Okay? I'm going to give you a little background on the snowblower situation. So my dad, who's awesome, he's like, he decided that he wanted to buy me a snowblower. This is a true story. You're going to like this story. He's going to buy me a snowblower. Now you have to realize that my garage situation is not a usable protect any of your assets type of situation. We're not going to go into that. You just need to know that as background as to the whole story with my garage. We're not going to go into the garage story, but you just need to know for purposes of this story that my garage is not a functioning place that I could store anything that I don't want to basically leave available to animals. Literally like different number of chromosome animals or human animals. So I'm basically, but my sister, who does live next door to me, she has a perfectly functioning garage. So my father, since he never wants to play favorites, it's a big thing to him, never play favorites. So he said to me, Yosef, that's what he calls me, Yosef. He doesn't call me Joe. Yosef, so I'm getting you a snowblower. But it's on condition. I was like, really? Wow, thanks. That's pretty cool. It's on condition that you shovel your sister's walkway with it. Now my sister's there. So I said, Dad, why don't you get her the snowblower? Because let's face it, reality is it's going to be stored in her garage. So why don't you get her the snowblower on condition that she shovels my walk? I don't care about the snowblower. No. Why would I care about the snowblower? So he's like, oh, you rather that? I was like, yeah, that's and so my sister's like, Dad, where do you think he's going to store this snowblower? So you're basically saying, so this was like this whole back and forth. He's like, basically, so I'm going to get him a snowblower. At first, it was like, I'm going to get a snowblower. And then I get a snowblower, and Yafa, my sister, you should just store his snowblower for him. So she's like, so you're getting him a snowblower for me to store in my garage? So he's like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. Yosef, you should shovel her walk for her. And I was like, so how is it? What makes it my snow? How is this my snowblower? What? That's what it's going through my head. And instead of saying those words out loud, I was like, Dad, why don't you just get her a snowblower on condition that she shovels my walk? My brother-in-law is looking at me. He's like, what? Why? What? No. So, anyway, upshot of it all is what I expected to come out of this, which is we shovel our own walks. Which is probably the way it should be. But then, so today I found out that the reason why am I bringing this story up now? I find this out today that the reason my dad was adamant that he wanted me to have a snowblower is because he's worried about my heart, like literally like my physical heart, like because he basically read some article that people have spent years smoking and then go out and shovel their walks, that it's very dangerous for them. So he's like concerned about the notion of me like basically engaging that type of physical exertion in the cold. It does something to the cardiovascular system or something like that. So he has like real concerns about me like doing this, like shoveling, like actual real shoveling. So, anyhow, thank God, and I mean that sincerely. Thank God, I've never experienced anything like which gave me cause for concern about anything related to my circulation, and I pray to God that that remains the case for many decades. But yeah, so he had those concerns, but it was just very funny. So like today is when I found out that that's the reason the whole snowblower thing came to be, is based, and that's why he looked at it as a gift for me instead of it being like something. It's like he's actually like very concerned about me shoveling my walk. So I don't think he would be happy with how much exertion this is, snow blowing at 2:00 in the morning and having to like shove that thing back and forth. It's like, it's rough. It's not it's easier than doing it by hand, that's for sure. But anyhow, these are the things they don't tell you about when you're getting old. No one tells you about this. Master Phillips, welcome back. King of recruitment. My guy. It's good to see you. Good to see you. I hope that things are doing well for you. I hope that's why you haven't been around as much as you used to be. I hope it's because life has been going amazing for you and that the timing just didn't work out for you. So, but it's awesome to see you. And he comes back in here, King of Recruitment, and says, hey, let me gift 5 new memberships here. Following 5 people brought into the following, courtesy of, let me gift 5 new Master Phillips. That would include, of course, when you hear your name, it would be appropriate for you to express your gratitude to a King of Recruitment. Master Phillips, that would include you, Dustin Echoes, Golden Age, Sunshine Deluxe, Lorena Ashcroft, and Ms. Mo. Look at that, Ms. Mo. You got gifted. Nice. So if you've heard your name, it's appropriate if you just express your gratitude to Master Phillips, King Recruitment, for bringing you on in here. And we say thank you. Please bear in mind that I am not at all the leader of the following. I'm just a host. This is true. Ashley Turner says, appreciate you doing a stream tonight. Husband is back in the hospital finding a brain tumor that cannot be fully removed. Ooh, that's terrible. Prayers for him. Your late night streams let me focus on normal things for a bit. Most of the people I'm focusing on here are not too normal. But I appreciate your company. Thank you so much. And I really prayers for him, because that's got to be very, very stressful. It must be. So Breck Nichols popping on in here saying, crotchy old men unite. I never really thought of myself as a crotchety old man, but then it dawned on me that I think people probably look at me like that. Like it's very likely. They don't tell me what day that happened, but it's very likely people do. Maybe that's what comes of like, if like you have gray in your beard and you basically are like, I don't care what people think of me. Like I'm not adjusting anything in order to make people more to accommodate the tastes of the local populace. So I think that earns you the moniker crotchety. Probably. That or the hack and cough. It really could be. It really could be either of those. Really could be. Forensic. Let's talk a little bit about Alex Pretti. Forensic video analysis of Alex Pretti's final 30 seconds exposes John Wayne gun. Question that cannot be ignored. All right. It's brought to you by the Daily Mail reporting. They say the camera never lies. So how is it that people can watch multiple videos of the same tragic event and come to diametrically opposed conclusions? It happened when Renee Good, 37, was shot by an ICE officer in Minneapolis on January 7th. And now it happened again after a Border Patrol agent shot dead Alex Pretti, who was also 37, just over a mile away. Pretti's death on Saturday was captured on video by at least 3 different bystanders with phones, forming an almost perfect triangle of viewpoints, with the incident at the center. Now speaking to the Daily Mail, multiple experts who analyzed the footage addressed the burning questions, including the possibility of Pretti's gun misfiring and what could be enough to justify a shooting. Okay. In the aftermath of the Pretti's death, the Trump administration argued that he was a domestic terrorist shot by a federal officer in self-defense. Opposing side, comprised of Democratic leaders and Pretti's family, however, called that a sickening lie. And he was gunned down in cold blood. Well, he was gunned down in cold blood. It was either that he's a domestic terrorist or he's an idiot. It's pretty much what pretty much what you can take from this. Homeland Security Secretary, I guess you can say maybe he was unfortunate. Maybe. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt? Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem set out of the federal government's case at a news conference. She said Pretti was armed and brandishing, that he approached the officers, and when they attempted to disarm him, he reacted violently. He wasn't brandishing in the way people tend to use the term brandishing. He was carrying a concealed carry, but brandishing implies that he's waving his gun around in a menacing way, which is definitely not what happened. An agent fearing for his life and those of the agents around him fired defensive shots, Noem said. That part I agree with. Adding that Pretti had committed an act of domestic terrorism. Maybe. Is it domestic terrorism? Bolstering that argument, President Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, called Pretti a would-be assassin. I just want to point this out. To any of you from the left who are watching this stream, a clip of this stream or something of that nature, what we know is that he came there with more than 5 dozen bullets. That's a lot of bullets to be bringing to a protest. I also would point out to you something I was tagged on, I think by Allegan News, aka Fans, who I think he's in Rumble. I didn't respond to him, but he did tag me. I think I saw him here tonight. Is he here tonight? I'm not seeing him. He's here frequently. He is watching this afterwards if he's not watching right now. Hands one pack, yeah. So there he is here. So he shared with me a link to something that I found very, very interesting. What did he share with me? Well, what he shared with me was a reference. It was a post made by Rob Romano. And that post by Rob Romano, you'll see on your screen in a moment, says the AGs of DC, Illinois, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mississippi. I'm guessing Mississippi. Minnesota. That's right. AG from Minnesota. This is Keith Ellison. Along with Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington, argued in 2024 that there is no Second Amendment right to carry guns at events involving political speech, like political rallies and protests, because they are often targets of violence. And as I understand it, the Supreme Court, even in Bruin, agreed that such a thing can be outlawed fairly, meaning even under the relaxed gun restrictions. The Bruin was a case that came before the Supreme Court, 2024, where there was complaints about how in New York they basically restricted you from being able to carry a gun anywhere, and the holding in Bruin basically said, well, in certain times and contexts you can limit, but you can't just be limiting it everywhere. And they were looking at the historical background as to where they were typically limited. And this quote over here says, states have similarly designated as sensitive places events involving political speech, like political rallies and protests. This is what Keith Ellison put out. The same reasoning applies to areas like parks, libraries, recreation centers, in which individuals may engage in speech and political activity. Not only are these locations often targets of violence, but the mere presence of firearms and the implicit threat they communicate could chill individuals' peaceful exercise of their speech rights. So what they're essentially saying, and this includes Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, are basically saying you should be restricting guns from popping up at protests, which Supreme Court seemed to agree with that logic. That could be okay in theory. So here you have this guy showing up to a protest with a gun. Now, because I'm a believer in the Second Amendment, I'll say he totally had the right to carry his gun there. Totally fine. There should be nothing wrong with him bringing his gun there, the same way there's nothing wrong with him bringing his car to a protest. There's nothing wrong with him bringing his gun to a protest. But what I will point out is that when you are carrying a gun, there is a heightened recognition of the fact that you are better primed, you're more easily primed to prove yourself to be a reasonable person an imminent threat to causing death or serious bodily injury. And accordingly, in that context, in that setting, you need to be aware of the fact that you're carrying a gun restricts what you might do if you were not differently, and you should conduct yourself very differently than if you're not carrying a gun. If you're going to march up to the line of what your First Amendment, Second Amendment rights are, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you damn well better know where that line is. You have to be, that's the one, you're an idiot if you don't know where that line is. If you're not aware of the fact that, hey, you're presenting yourself as a serious risk of causing death, or a reasonable person would interpret this as they're not reading your mind. They can't know that you're a pacifist who's packing heat. There's no way for them to know that. So all they know is you're a guy who's carrying a gun and you're now fist fighting with an ICE agent. Well, that's going to lead them to think that, you know what, I think this guy's going to pull his gun and shoot someone. So I would advise ever against fighting with local law enforcement or ICE agents or any other sort of agents, because that's definitely not going to end well. It's not going to end well for you. But all the more so if you're carrying a gun. All the more so because you're much more likely to end up in the ground. You're much more likely to never walk home from that incident. And this is something that should be common sense to anyone. This is not something, I'm not giving anything groundbreaking here. This is something that everyone needs to recognize. So this guy here presented himself as a threat. That's just what happened. Was he trying to present himself as a threat? I don't know, but he certainly didn't go limp. He certainly didn't start screaming, I'm not resisting, which the words alone are not enough. He could have gone limp and laid on the ground. He's being tackled by 6 guys there. Why wouldn't you go limp? And when you know that, hey, you're carrying a gun, and that someone's likely to see that gun and get very, very antsy about that. I'm not saying that that's, you have to recognize the threat you're presenting. That's really what I'm getting at. Just understand how the world is perceiving you. I can recognize that the world may perceive me as a crotchety old man. You need to recognize when the world may perceive you as a threat to their very lives. I'm planning on attending a protest. Should I bring my gun, leave my identification, and insert myself into a physical situation with law enforcement? Asking for a friend. Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? I made that point in Ace Channel today, and he called me anti-Second Amendment. I don't know how that's anti-Second Amendment. You cannot conduct yourself the same way with a gun as you would without a gun. Not if you're looking to survive. I just gave the guy a shove. Okay. You gave the guy a shove, and then when your hand falls down towards your waist belt and he thinks you're reaching for a gun, and that's deemed something that, like, his training tells him, I think he's reaching for a gun. So you might really might be reaching for a tissue, but that's what ends up happening. And I'll tell you something else. This is the thing that people just seem, it's mind-boggling to me that people miss this point. Even if the cop is wrong, even if the cop has an itchy trigger finger, how does that help you? Does that help you at all? Does it help you at all if that guy gets... Is there any difference to you when you're in the afterlife as to whether or not this guy walks on it or spends the next 50 years in prison? It's not helping you. It's not doing anything for you. So just don't end up in the ground. Just recognize, hey, this is just the reality of the world we live in. These are the laws. These are the rules. This is how things work. This is where someone is more likely to perceive me as a threat to their life. And that once they are in that situation and they're armed and they have a lot of their friends who are in a similar circumstance, all standing on his side, that you are now basically standing before your own execution squad. So why put yourself in a situation that you're basically saying, I'm going to just walk into a situation that now I'm going to basically be like flicking the forehead of people who are my potential execution squad, while also making like just sort of jerky motions towards my holster. They say, how stupid you have to be. So now, all the people on this side of y'all, that side of y'all start screaming, is this something, should he go to jail? Should he not go to jail? I am just asking you common sense. I mean, why is this guy in this circumstance, which we're going to talk a little bit about why he's in this circumstance and how stupid is this? Eventually, someone, if this goes unchecked, if there's no Insurrection Act invoked by Trump, and there will be more deaths. We know this. I mean, it's obvious. There will be more deaths, and some of them are going to look bad for ICE. Or it's like, you know what? The guy pulled the trigger too quick. So if you're the activist who's at the wrong end of that bullet, is that helping you? That, oh wow, great uprising against Trump now? No, you're an idiot. Like, don't make this something that, this conflagration, something that you're unnecessarily going to fail to survive. I don't want to see that happen to anyone on the left or the right. It's terrible for a cop who ends up having the itchy trigger finger. So there's going to be an incident like that eventually, if we don't have the Insurrection Act and people are able to just go unchecked, marching around, screaming, pushing on ICE agents, beating on cars while they're armed. And it's going to happen. They already consider this a murder, screaming murder. They murdered 2 people, lunatics screaming, murdered, murder, murder. It's like, well, why are you putting yourself in this circumstance? These federal agents wrestle a man to the ground before shooting him. That's warning. It's viewers discretion advised. There they push him. I still can't figure out what the hell is happening with this woman over here. I don't know what her story is. I don't know if he's protecting her. I don't know if he's dragging her. I don't know what the hell is happening. She goes down. He now goes over. Is he trying to pull her? Is he wrestling her? I don't know what the hell's happening there. They're pulling. It seems like they're pulling him off of the woman. It looks like he's holding a phone in his hand. This guy with the gray over here is busy pulling. We're going to see him. He's about to start yanking the gun off of him. Boom. Now, people basically say at this moment here, the gun that goes off is Pretti's own gun. Right here. And speculation is, people talk about the nature of this gun, that there's been reports that potentially this gun goes off by itself. Doesn't seem likely that this cop is purposely trying to shoot the gun. That doesn't seem to make sense. Like, why would he be shooting a gun on the ground? You can hear from other audio that someone screamed gun like a second before this. So now all the agents there are alert to the fact that this guy has a gun. So that's not helping this situation. Because as soon as they know he has a gun and they see that he's basically fighting, so yeah, they're going to kill him. That's what's going to happen. Especially if they hear a bullet, if they hear a gun going off, they hear there's a gun and they think, all right, gun's going off. He's firing. So I don't know what this woman on the ground here is doing. I don't know what the hell her story is. I don't know. All these different angles. Everyone says they see stuff.
Oh, what the? They killed him? Did they kill that guy? Are you kidding me, dude?
So there you go. That's your triangulated positions. You get from like one angle and the other angle, and then from this angle. All right. Now this guy's gone. So now people say that he was trying to stand up. He was trying to get up. Maybe. I don't know. Governor Tim Walz called Noam's version of events nonsense. Added, thank God we have video. I've seen the video several angles and it's sickening. Yeah, well, it's sickening that he dies. Doesn't mean it's sickening. It doesn't mean they did anything illegal. When Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry saw the videos, was more than 6 masked agents pummeling one of our constituents, shooting him to death. Well, he was also armed. And I know that he was disarmed by the time he was shot, but that's not knowledge that gets imputed to the other agents. Pretti's family said the footage showed their son, an ICU nurse in Veterans Hospital and licensed gun carrier, being attacked by Trump's murdering and cowardly ICE thugs. So it really happened outside Glamdal Donuts in Minneapolis. None of the 3 bystanders who took the most widely circulated videos were more than a width of a street away, and one was significantly closer, at just a few yards distance. They were standing on the sidewalk Pretti was facing it as he was shot. What is not in dispute is that around 9 a.m., Border Patrol officers had detained an Ecuadorian illegal immigrant in a target operation. That man was on the ground. 50 seconds before he was shot, Pretti was captured on video standing in the street and filming, holding his phone up and moving slowly across the road toward where the officers had detained the suspect. Now, how is this guy end up happening to be there? How does this guy happen to be there? Well, almost certainly because he's part of this group. The far left network that helped put Alex Pretti in harm's way, then made him a martyr. Encrypted signal messages show rapid responders mobilized demonstrators to harass federal agents outside Glamdal Donuts. Then socialist groups capitalized on the killing to foment protests. This is how he ended up getting there.
The DOA identified yet. You said the guy had no.
Bring back in Fox News contributor Paul Morrow. Paul, what did you take away from that?
Well, he went to what you and I were talking about, Aisha, which is that the precedent was given early was devoid of facts and obviously pointed in a way that was only going to rile things up worse. Now, what it sounds like also is they don't have the DOA identified yet.
This was yesterday, obviously.
ID, so now they're going to be scrambling to do that.
This was yesterday, obviously. I don't really care about this report from yesterday. We're going to get rid of this.
They'll print them to see if there is any record of.
The skirmish that led to Saturday's fatal shooting of agitator by Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis and the response that followed. Let's make this a little bit better for my layout here. A coordinated response that followed, driven by a complex network of far-left organizations with a wide range of causes. A coordinated web of encrypted chats, street alerts, and tracking of ICE abductors is a sophisticated database reviewed by Fox News Digital shows that agitators were already mobilized in the scene where 37-year-old Alex Pretti was killed minutes before any shots were fired. ICE and Border Patrol agents were there to arrest an illegal immigrant criminal. Pretti and others were there outside a donut shop to meet them as part of a strategic pattern of organized interference with law enforcement operations. So they basically put him there. Over the following hours, a national network of socialist, communist, and Marxist-Leninist cells in the United States leveraged the tragic fatality into a nationwide protest operation. While grief and outrage over Pretti's death is genuine, the network's real-time rapid response, where they're using short, sensational video clips and emojis as weapons of propaganda, offers a window into the disciplined logistics, messaging, coordination of far-left warriors fomenting insurgency-like confrontation with authorities. They're trying to make it worse. That's the goal. Let's get more Alex Prettis. That's what these lunatics want. They want more Alex Prettis. They want more people dying. They're going to sit there crying, remember Alex Pretti, while they're preparing the next person. They're priming the next person to become Alex Pretti. This level of engineered chaos is unique to Minneapolis. It's a direct consequence of far-left agitators working with local authorities, Vice President J.D. Vance observed on his Sunday post on X. The encrypted signal messages obtained by Fox News Digital in real time show that anti-ICE rapid responders, this is like, it's like an emergency, we're here. We're actively tracking, broadcasting, and summoning backup around federal agents outside Glamdal Donuts on Nicollet Avenue where the shooting occurred. Local rapid responders made at least 26 entries into a database called Minnesota Ice Plates in the critical hours before and after the killing, documenting the license plate numbers and details of alleged ICE vehicles they claim to see around Nicollet Avenue. The entry at row 344, quote, at the Nicollet murder, chronicling a black Jeep Wagoneer at the location with agents allegedly involved in shooting. Row 338 had Glamdal Donuts entry tracking a black Ford Taurus. They're saying backup needed at the Black Forest Inn parking lot of Nicollet Avenue just south of 26th Street. So they have this whole complex network working together, trying to work together. 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time, just before the killing, a user identified as Willow shared a 22-second video on an encrypted signal chat for anti-ICE rapid responders. 22nd and 3rd, wrote Willow quickly with outside Glamdal. The video showed two agents, one wearing a vest marked police, studying the front door of Glamdal before walking away past a sign in the window that read ICE out of Minnesota. As the camera rolled, the person filming yelled, no. The camera showed the agents as they returned to a maroon Dodge Durango, passing another sign in the window that read, all welcome here. In the video, someone shouted, get out of here. Just 3 minutes later, at 9:53 a.m., a second signal user, Salacious B. Crum, escalated the alert, summoning additional responders and citing the same vehicle and agents. Backup needed at the Black Forest Inn parking lot on Nicollet Avenue, just south of 26th Street. Multiple vehicles with many agents appear to be staging there, the alert continued. One confirmed ICE vehicle seen was a maroon Dodge Durango. You give the plate number. It's driven away northbound on Nicollet. ICE Assistant Director Marcos Charles said Sunday the violence on the streets was not a coincidence, considering the chaos and mayhem that agitators are fomenting in Minneapolis. This is not something that should be surprising. At the same press conference, CBP Commander-at-Large Greg Bavino confirmed that Pretti was, quote, on the scene several minutes before the fatal shooting. Video of the scene shows that Pretti stepped into the middle of Nicollet Street to direct traffic. Fellow agitators could be heard blowing whistles to alert locals that ICE officers were around. Soon after, Pretti ended up in a street confrontation with CBP agents across the street from Glamdal's Donuts outside a worn storefront marked New American Development Center, a nonprofit focused on immigration entry programs for Somalis. Within minutes, at about 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, at least one Customs and Border Patrol agent shot Pretti, killing him. At 10:18 a.m. Eastern Time, the signal network erupted. Using a red phone emoji signal and all points alert, a message blasted out, urgent, observers urgently requested at Glamdal Donuts, 26 in Nicollet. An observer has been shot by ICE, unknown condition, EMTs present, please be safe. And edited, medics requested to join perimeter in case agents start gassing. Be sure there are many agents in MPD. It's like this feels like we're reading enemy. It's like this whole thing is surreal. It feels like we're at war. It feels like we're at war. And these like you're basically reading behind the enemy lines, like communications. Like we're seeing we're reading communications amongst the British officers. This is insanity. This right here is insurgency. This right here is an insurrection. The existence of this entire thing, even if it was not related to Tim Walz, the existence of this going unchecked by the Walz administration is a reason to have an insurrection act. Even if no one died. Even if no one died. Even if Renee Good was still alive and Alex Pretti was still alive, the existence of this complex web of folks who are basically organized as to how can we impede ICE going unchecked by the Walz administration, even if they had nothing to do with it, but them just saying, well, we know it's there, we don't care. That is a reason to invoke the Insurrection Act. I'm telling you right now, and you might think I'm crazy, but like this is insanity. This is not normal. You read these communications, and they think they're at war. They think they're at war with the federal government. There's no question. Don't tell me you'll never convince me anything other than this. They think we are at war. If they think they're at war with the federal government and that they're mobilizing and they have God knows how many people who are sitting here trying to like figure out how can we mobilize to orchestrate to.
It's really sad because I used to be left leaning when I felt like being on the left made sense to who I was at the time.
Not you. I'm going to pop up here. When you have ICE agents who are basically not ICE agents. When you have an entire network, a cabal of people who are this organized, dedicated 24/7, doesn't matter, Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Instead of sitting there getting toked out watching Saturday morning cartoons, they're LARPing as if they're in an army. How do we like confront ICE to help save our illegal alien, criminal, crazy, lunatic brethren? This is what the situation is. Even if Tim Walz was just incompetent and Jacob Fry was just incompetent and not complicit and no one died, this is an unacceptable state of affairs. This is insanity to allow this to go unchecked. You have an entire network who's dedicated to interfering with federal activity, with lawful federal activity. That alone is a basis for an insurrection act. When you tack on top of that, I mean, look at the conversations that are going on here. Within minutes, far-left activists descended on Nicollet Avenue soon after a video showed corrugated boxes and supplies apparently lined up on a Minneapolis sidewalk for protesters, including boxes marked designer masks and free winter hats next to piles of bottled water. It's like our troops are going to need hats. They're going to need water. Let's make sure that we get them to the front lines here. This is insurrection. And I'm sorry. Even if Tim Walz and his administration, Jacob Fry and his administration were not complicit here, that you should be invoking the Insurrection Act, even if no one died. But now we have 2 deaths. We have 2 American deaths. And the terrible tragedy of this is not simply their passing, but frankly, that these agents now have to live with the fact that they are responsible for killing these individuals, which that's a traumatic thing. Not to mention the cloud hanging over their heads that one day, years from now, some crazy Democrat is going to try and put them in jail for this. This is an insane situation. This is not tenable. So when you have this type of thing, which standing alone is a basis to invoke the Insurrection Act, you tack on 2 deaths on top of that, you definitely should be invoking the Insurrection Act. Then you tack on top of that these agents, these provocateurs, these agitators who LARP as like illegal observers, rapid responders. Oh, we're here. We're the ambulance. We're the good people. We're the saviors. We're white knighting for these crazy criminals. Doesn't matter if they beat up women, if they assault children. Doesn't matter. We're going to stand up and defend them against Trump. Why? They can't even. They have no good reason for it other than Trump evil, Trump bad. So when you take those 2 factors and you say that, and you recognize that the Walz administration and the Fry administration, the Jacob Fry administration, are complicit with them, helping them, working hand in glove with them, encouraging them, taking 0 steps on any sort of even like pretend type of way, like, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Taking 0 steps to try and slow down the ratcheting of hatred and violence against ICE. Because ultimately we recognize that what they want is more violence against ICE and violence by ICE back at others. It reminds me of the strategy that Hamas uses. Blood is good. Doesn't matter when you deal with Hamas. Blood is good. Jewish blood is great, but if it's Arab blood, that's fine too, because that's great PR. That's what we're dealing with the Walz administration. That's what we're dealing with Jacob Fry. It's the exact same playbook. Blood is good from their perspective. We're sitting here. How do we try to protect these lunatics, these crazy blue-haired psychopaths who have basically been triggered, weaponized by their own emotions into standing up for an insane cause, a self-destructive cause, and weaponized? And we're like, how do we stop them without causing them long-term physical harm while their leaders, the people who are worried about them, my constituents, their leaders are basically ratcheting up and fomenting them up? How do you not invoke the Insurrection Act? This is just insanity. It's the same PR war that Israel's been dealing with Hamas for ages, but here, you're the federal government. It's aggravating. They're LARPing like they're at war. And showing up there like idiots, being strapped, and then like fighting and banging on cars and blowing their stupid whistles to try and cause chaos and confusion. Basically, ramming into vehicles. You got to grab the bull by the horns at a certain point. I do think that the Insurrection Act is going to be invoked this week. Trump sent out a letter, a post on True Social today, which was basically mirroring what we read that Pam Bondi, the letter Pam Bondi had sent to Walz and Fry yesterday, which basically, here are our demands as to what you do. And Trump basically echoed that in his True Social post today. And I think that's all designed to try and build the case before the eyes of the public as to why the Insurrection Act is a necessary thing, because he does recognize, he's sufficiently politically savvy to recognize the political blowback from this is going to be enormous, because he's playing into the whole notion that they're saying no kings, he wants to be a king, he wants to be a tyrant, and invoking the Insurrection Act is exactly what they've been threatening he's going to do. So what do? They keep pushing and pushing until you have no choice. If you don't invoke the Insurrection Act, you're pretty much violating your constitutional duty to preserve the laws of the United States. People are sickeningly evil. Sickeningly evil. Because trust me, when they invoke the Insurrection Act, it's not like that's going to be bloodless either. You're going to see a handful of psychopaths. And they'll be called martyrs for the cause. As if that's going to help them. They was saying it was wise to bring a gun to protest, but just carrying a gun isn't reason to justify a cop shooting. Source of the first shot. No one knows what the source of the first shot was. No one knows whether it was a gun that accidentally went off, or someone screaming gun and someone seeing him reacting and bucking underneath there and thinking that he's reaching for a gun. I don't think anyone knows right now. I don't know if we'll ever know. This is happening because we had morning labors. You're saying natural selection couldn't do its normal thing of, like, don't stick your tongue inside inside an electrical outlet? Maybe. Actions have consequences. CBP and ICE are federal law enforcement agencies, and interference may lead to serious federal charges, imprisonment, and fatal outcomes. calming is not a good outcome. I'm not sure that. I think they probably typo there. The end part of it. Once Petty's gun appears, the cop have no idea if he has a second gun, third gun, a knife. He killed himself by ignoring his concealed carry training. Yep, this is true. Was he a threat even though he had a firearm? Should LEO be disarming citizens without rain? Those are questions I've been thinking. They're in a physical confrontation with him. So once they're in a physical confrontation with him, he needs to make clear as rapidly as possible, because he's carrying a gun, that he is not resisting, and then act in a way that is going to be it's going to manifest that he's not resisting and that he's not posing a threat to them as quickly as he possibly can. Someone who has a firearm and is bucking is bucking underneath 6 agents is a threat to basically reach into his holster, pull it out, and just start firing. That's the reality. So you basically gave people who are not happy with you and scared about what you're going to do reason to think that they have a basis to blow you away for their own safety or the safety of their fellow officers. That's why I was saying earlier, don't make yourself someone like that, who you can give them justification. And trust me, let's just pretend for a second here. Let's just pause for a second here and think this through. Let's assume that they didn't have justification. Is that going to make life better for Alex Pretti? Whether they're justified or not isn't going to help Alex Pretti. So why should someone put themselves in a situation they're going to be Alex Pretti? Should you prove a point? And at your funeral, your 7-year-old kid can basically say, well, he proved his point. Would that be good for you? Is that what the kid needs? Is that what your family needs? I don't know if this guy's a father or not, but you understand my point. So your siblings will all sit there, wow, he proved his point, and the cop was totally in the wrong. And let's say the cop is in the wrong. All right. Try telling that to his folks next Christmas when they're looking at pictures of him and crying. Stupid, senseless, idiocy. And the cop if totally in the wrong. I can't believe the cop was so reckless. Well, you know what? Every once in a while, you're likely to have someone who's reckless. I'm just going to point this out to you. Something you may not have thought about. So I want to make this clear to each and every one of you. Just think this through for a second. The most likely person to kill someone is someone, statistically, who pulls the trigger too fast. Right? That's the most likely. That's the most, because that's part of the definition of what they are. They pull the trigger too fast. So if you happen to be face to face with that guy, do you want to give that guy cause to pull the trigger? Oh, he was wrong. Yeah, okay, you're right. He's wrong. You're the one who's dead. Like, how's it helping you? It helps the cause. It gives you, they'll put your name on posters. They'll all scream, remember Renee Good? Oh, remember Renee Good. Oh, I'm sure that's really great for her. I'm sure that's really great for her kids. That's really wonderful for her kids. It's like, yeah, mom's not around. There's no one to comfort me when I'm feeling like all alone here, but people remember her. It's stupid. Useful idiots are disposable. They treat themselves as if they're disposable. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan was part of the Signal chat. Yeah, I heard something about that also. I want to check that out. Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flagg is listed as an admin in the Signal group chat allegedly used to coordinate anti-ICE protests, doxing agents, vehicle tracking, mobilization efforts in the Twin Cities areas. All right. Strategy mirrors past mobilizations. I'm going to go through this. Just they respond in real time to mobilize comrades to march on the streets within 12 hours. The U.S. arrest of Venezuelan strongman Nicolas Maduro in early January. Socialist, communist, and Marxist Leninist groups now frame their activation as an action within the belly of the beast against the hyper-imperialism of the United States. You ain't seen imperialism yet. You're about to. You're about to see it. You're about to see it. Joe, it's clear after Bonnie sent a letter to Walz, the Insurrection Act will never be enacted. This administration has no teeth. I think just the opposite. I think that letter was a precursor for the Insurrection Act. I think it's a precursor, so this way they can say, look, we tried working with them. I think the Insurrection Act will be invoked this week. I think you're going to see it. Bonnie has failed on multiple levels. Epstein, phase 1. Comey, no J6 committee arrests, no Walz arrest, nothing but Fox shots and strong letters. We'll see. We'll see. She arrested Lady Armstrong. So the Insurrection Act would not be on her. That's on President Trump. Tomorrow, many Somali leaders will go in front of a federal judge for an injunction order against ICE. I was a soldier. You were a lawyer. Help brother understand. We take judges out differently. Yeah, just because they're going in front of a judge doesn't mean anything's going to come out of that. I don't think that they have no legal authority. They have no legal standing to do anything to get ICE out of Minnesota. They're desperate to get them out, but they have zero legal standing. So nothing will come of that. Meanwhile, they're threatening to kill James O'Keefe. Minneapolis mob threatens to kill O'Keefe. Ice bottles thrown followed an OMG team under attack. This is his report here.
Downtown Minneapolis, we have a team of undercover reporters still inside the mob. I was at the scene of the shooting, covering it this morning, and basically we barely got out of there alive. There were a few hundred that surrounded us, started throwing ice bottles at us. A few hit us, hit our vehicle. They were starting to rip off my bulletproof vest. So we got out of there. We were followed. We were tailed. And here we are right now. We just got this message. And it says, we know that you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his crew of Nazis. You're in a white Ford license plate. They actually wrote the license plate down from Florida. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead.
That's a crime.
We are going to
Yes, that's a crime right there.
Produce our footage, gathering everything we've got from this weekend. We're going to put our report together along with the hidden camera footage that we have. We still have undercover people in the field. Please pray for my team's safety. This is worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. I have security with me, former Marine, and he said that it was worse than overseas, and it was certainly anything worse than I've seen the cartel at the border. We're going to contact law enforcement, DHS, and the FBI. And we're going to try to get out of here safely so we can bring the news to you. Stay tuned for our report coming Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
So there's that. What does Tim Walz? What does Tim Walz say about all this? Oh, apparently he's Anne Frank, or Minnesotans are Anne Frank. Hence the thumbnail that I put up today for this video. Which, by the way, ChatGPT did not want to make that thumbnail. I had to come up with an interesting way of how to like basically get that thumbnail, because they were like, no, 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 absolutely not, no. So if for the thumbnail alone, if you can give me like a thumbs up for the thumbnail alone, Tim Walz hiding in an attic with Anne Frank. For the thumbnail alone, I'd appreciate it if you can give me a like, because ChatGPT is like, this is bad for your channel. This is bad. You're gonna get in trouble. You're in trouble, Joey. It's not good. I'm like, no. This jackass over here who spits on Anne Frank, spits on her by comparing himself or these ICE criminals to her. You complete and total jackass. You donkey breath. Awful human being.
We have got children in Minnesota hiding in their houses, afraid to go outside. Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
It's not a children's story, you jackass. It's not a children's story, you clown. You knucklehead, doofus, you insensitive jerk. I am so tired of these constant comparisons to the Nazis. I am so tired of this. It is literally spitting on Anne Frank. To compare someone who's chased for their DNA and hunted for their DNA and ultimately gassed for her DNA, and you're comparing these kids or yourselves or Minnesotans to that, and comparing the current administration who's trying to fix the problem that your party created, trying to fix that problem, as if in comparing them to those awful, heinous, most vile characters in history. And you're sitting here like making this stupid jackass comparison. You're literally spitting on Anne Frank. You're basically spitting on her, saying, oh, everyone's like her. Oh, these little kids are just like her, just like her, just like her. Audacity of this jerk.
And there's one person who can end this now.
You can end it now. Stuff like this isn't happening in Texas. You can end it now. It's not happening in Texas. A clip of Greg Vavina making this point? I think I do. You're the only person who can end this.
I'm very confused about why the conversation is about what you're talking about instead of focusing on what really matters, which is why in one city, in one place do we have these.
It's obviously Todd Blanche, not Greg Bavino. Todd Blanche, Deputy Attorney General, making the point that it is Tim Walz who can end this.
Is why in one city, in one place do we have these problems. We deport 10 times the number of illegal aliens out of Texas than we do out of Minneapolis. Why do we hear nothing out of Texas about any of the same problems that we have in Minneapolis? I'll tell you why. Because in Texas, we have the cooperation and support of local law enforcement so that we can do these operations safely, keeping U.S. citizens and others protected and safe. That is not what we have in Minneapolis. And the fact that it's the administration that's being blamed for the utter failure of leadership in Minneapolis is not right. It's not appropriate.
But are you saying that?
It's not the utter failure. It's the willful failure, the willful self-destruction of a party here, the willful self-destruction of our country. Excuse me. It's really the willful self-destruction of our country for their own stupid, petty aims, trying to make everyone forget about all the fraud that they're engaged in. Sickening. A sick monster. Hands One Pack says, bet those charge at church get dismissed within 10 months. Those at church get dismissed within 2 months. I don't think that's true. I disagree with you on that. Summer Breeze says, let's go, Joe. I've enjoyed having you around this weekend. Hope we can keep this up. Much love, Digger at 84. Oh, cool. Thank you. If you're on Rumble, you can hit the like also there. How many likes we got there? 62. We can do a lot better than that. It should be over 100 in there. What are we at over? What am I over in? How many do I have here? 1,200 watching now on YouTube. Watching now on YouTube. 468 likes. Watching now. Pathetic. I'm sorry. I love you guys, but that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just, I don't know, maybe you guys hate me or something. You hear hate watching me. Let's hate watch the crotchety old man. There's another example of the insanity that's just been happening over the last week or two. This is an SUV with ICE agents in it.
Yo, what the? Yo, run over! Y'all finna get a whole lawsuit.
This is in Chicago.
What? Whole lawsuit. Yeah. Hit it run!
The jackass who's recording this thinks like he's got something on ice. Oh, they're hitting and running. No, they're not running.
That's a hit and run! Hit and run! Hit and run! That's a hit and run! Hit and run!
You don't know what hit and run is, moron.
Hit and run! Yeah. Look, hey, watch out with that weapon! That weapon! Yo, watch out! What's wrong with you? You hit it! You hit her! Yo! What's wrong? You hit her! You hit her! You guys hit her! You guys hit her! What's wrong with y'all? Y'all bust a whole U-turn in the middle of the street! Y'all hit her! Y'all on camera! Leave her alone! She ain't even do shit. She trying to go to
Yeah, well, if she really hadn't done anything, she would have gone out of the car right away instead of saying no.
work. She trying to go to work.
What the fuck?
No.
Yeah, if she wasn't a protester, she was actually trying to go to work, she just would have gone out of the car.
What? Crazy shit.
The tell is that she didn't want to get out of the car, because when you get into an accident, you get out of the car. You don't tell the people with guns, no, I'm not getting out of my car.
Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart.
Yeah, if you had just gone into an accident by accident, not on purpose, you wouldn't be kicking the people with the guns.
She's a female.
No one cares if she's a female. She's acting like an animal.
You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her? You guys hit her. Man, how y'all gonna arrest her, man? Y'all bogus as fuck. You hit her. You guys hit her. You guys hit her.
Just insufferable.
Whole lawsuit right there.
The life of an ICE agent. These guys are heroes. $200 Studio says also Democrats are correct. The next shutdown will be the Republicans' fault. They know the Democrats will block because Republicans won't axe the filibuster. True. For as much as they call us Nazis, they sure do behave a lot like Nazis. Yep. How is a letter going to be the groundwork for the Insurrection Act? Okay. So if you check out his True Social post, which was a follow, I'm not going to review the letter because I went through the 3-page letter that Pam Bondi sent yesterday. His True Social post that he sent out today, which was a follow-up, I referenced that, but I haven't shared it yet. So I'll share his True Social post. He wrote, "This is why I'm hereby calling on Governor Walz, Mayor Frey, and every Democrat governor and may in the United States of America to formally cooperate with the Trump administration to enforce our nation's laws. See, this language of to enforce our nation's laws is basically setting up that you're not enabling me to enforce our nation's laws, so I have to declare the Insurrection Act. That's what he's doing here. You need to understand how to read between the lines. I'm telling you what he's doing. This is what it reads like to me. Rather than resist and stoke the flames of division, chaos, and violence. These are all languages. This is perfect language to basically say, look, I told you what you're doing here. I told you this is your insurrecting. Governor Walz and Mayor Fryer should turn over the criminal legal aliens that are currently incarcerated in state prisons, jails, federal authorities, along with the legal criminals with an active warrant of known criminal history for immediate deportation. These three things are the three things that Pam Bondi listed off. State and local enforcement must agree to turn over all legal aliens arrested by local police. Local police must assist federal law enforcement in apprehending and detailing illegal aliens who are wanted for crimes. Democrat politicians must partner the federal government with government to protect American citizens and the rapid removal of all criminal aliens in our country. Some Democrats. She also mentioned about the fraud records. He didn't ask for that. Some Democrats in places like Memphis, Tennessee, or Washington, D.C. have done so, resulting in safer streets for all. See this language? Oh, that's how we get safer streets. We don't have safety because you're not complying with me. In addition, I'm hereby calling on the United States Congress to immediately pass legislation to end sanctuary cities, which is the root cause of all these problems. Hear, hear. American cities should be safe sanctuaries for law-abiding American citizens only, not illegal alien criminals who broke our nation's laws. All these requests are rooted in common sense and will provide the best possible circumstances to make America great again. Trump administration is standing by and waiting for any Democrat to do the right thing and work with us on these important matters of making America safe, like it is in all sections of our country where we are, together with local leadership participating and involved. You follow that up, reposting it, saying, during the 4 years of crooked Joe Biden Democrat-led leadership, tens of millions of illegal and alien criminals poured into our country, including hundreds of thousands of convicted murderers, rapists, kidnappers, drug dealers, and terrorists. I won the election in a historic landslide. And Republicans won majorities in both the House and Senate, in large part because we pledged to seal the border, which we have done, and launched the largest mass deportation of illegal alien criminals in American history. This is what everyone has been voting for. This is why I'm here, to do this. I am here at this time, at this place, to do this job. This deportation effort is underway in Republican-run cities. These operations are going peacefully and smoothly because local law enforcement officers are allowed to work with federal counterparts. See? Everything is going smoothly. There's no insurrection. For example, in the 5 Republican-run states of Texas, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and Louisiana, ICE has arrested 150,000 criminal illegal aliens over the past year with zero protests, riots, or chaos. Why? Because local police and ICE are cooperating and working together. Meanwhile, Democrat-run sanctuary cities, see the insanity that's happening there? And states are refusing to cooperate with ICE, and they're actually encouraging left-wing agitators to unlawfully obstruct their operations to arrest the worst of the worst people. By doing this, Democrats are putting illegal alien criminals over tax-paying, law-abiding citizens, and they created dangerous circumstances for everyone involved. Tragically, 2 American citizens have lost their lives as a result of this Democrat-ensued chaos. All of this language is making a case. The case he is making is why I need to invoke the Insurrection Act. There's no purpose to have sending a letter like that, a request, which you know they're going to say no to. The purpose is to win the war of public relations. Democrats have been going out there basically saying he's a tyrant. He wants to be a king. He wants to have his troops, terrorizing American citizens and everyone because he's a dictator. That's what they're portraying. That's the messaging that they've been putting out about him forever. He is now making his case. This is not a case to Tim Walz. He's not trying to convince Tim Walz of anything. This is his way of making his case to the American people. That I'm about to invoke the Insurrection Act, and don't think that's a reflection of the fact that I want to do this or that I have a hunger and appetite to rule with an iron fist. I'm trying to work with them, and no matter how hard I try or how many times I ask them, they basically have caused people to be dying and chaos to ensue instead of doing it peacefully and normally like the other states. And that's why we have this entire insurrection. That's what this is all about. That's why he puts this out. Otherwise, there's no point to writing it. There's no point, and certainly no point to having Pam Bondi send that letter. So I'm telling you now, look, we'll see. We'll see. I'm telling you now, I think it's going to be within the next week. If a week from now the Insurrection Act has not been declared, I'll be mistaken. I'll tell you know what? That's what I thought he was doing. But I think it will be declared. It's more like bananas and rice, bananas and rice. Someone shared that with me. I think someone shared that with me. Someone. I want to try and find the bananas and rice thing. Now I want to find the bananas and rice thing. Let me see if I can find that. Someone share with me? Did I stumble on it? Was I tagged on it? I definitely saw the bananas and rice thing and I was laughing. Let me see if I can find it on X. I'll do a quick look. I mean, look at these idiots. Look at these lunatics. They don't want to let ICE sleep. I'll come back to the bananas and rice. Maybe someone sent it to me. This is them trying to break into the hotel that they think ICE is staying at. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but this is what they think ICE is there. This is them. In a normal city, these people would be arrested for this. Basically harassing private citizens in a private hotel. They'd be arrested in a normal city.
They'd like to file a complaint with the Minneapolis Police Department. I was born across the fucking street. I've been seriously live.
That's not, they're not begging for the Insurrection Act? Been drinking after the Patriots won. I was hoping to relax. This conversation has got me incensed. Thanks for being here and spreading the truth. Not looking to incense you. I'm just going to say you're lucky that Bo Nix didn't play. Very, very lucky. Because I don't think they win that. Bo Nix is in that game. I don't think they win that game. Someone sent me a funny version of the bananas and rice thing. Someone even opened an account, rice and bananas. That's funny. That's funny.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali.
This is the one who told. This is like what was her name? Jahwalachma Somalia at. Jadine Somalia at.
To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like
What the hell is bananas and rice?
It's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and
The banana and rice thing is not helping me understand any better.
what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean. So I'm Somali.
That made it much clearer. Now I want to watch this and just focus on their facial expressions. I haven't tried yet. Maybe they keep a straight face.
I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean.
No one's getting what you mean. Yeah. So there you go. There you go. The banana and rice girl. Someone sent me a much funnier version of that, but all right. Okay. Did I miss anything? I want to make sure I missed. Yesterday I missed some. That woman tried to go on the street and block ICE. ICE pushed her out of the street. That's what Hands One Pack. I missed that earlier. Also, this came from Uzelian. Sending me evidence. Hands One Pack says Trump's administration laws and overreaching statements are detrimental to their cause. I totally agree with you on that. Totally agree with you, brother. When they make statements that, like, you know, calling her a terrorist, it doesn't build sympathy. It's a very neocon way of trying to handle the situation. It's stupid. So this is what Uzelian shared with me. Alex Pretti, evidence his gun may have been defective. Gun right advocate Taylor D. Rhodes 2-way made a video 5 months ago showing the same gun Alex Pretti was carrying can accidentally discharge. Some people are speculating the first shot heard in the footage was Pretti's gun after an officer removed it from his belt after they shout, "Gun, gun." The second officer reacted with the next shot. Did this gun go off unprompted? If that's the case, ICE agent liability debates aside, Alex Pretti's family could probably sue Sig Sauer. This video shows repeatable unprompted discharge. I can't show that video without this being. If I show a video of a gun going off live, I don't think I'm not showing that. I just don't. That's the sort of thing that makes YouTube freak out. So we're not doing that. You can show it in a video that's uploaded, but you cannot show it in a live stream. I get very freaked. I get very nervous even when I'm showing the altercation. I show someone testing a gun, and it's this exactly. I've been doing this long enough to know what YouTube is going to freak out about, and that's one of them. Let's move on to Josh Shapiro versus Kamala Harris, just for like some comedy's sake. some comedy's sake, because that's always a good time. I actually want to cue something up first. Give me like a minute. I didn't think of this until just now. Let me see if I can find it really fast. I meant to pull this up. When I saw this, I was like, this reminds me of that other thing that we looked at last week. Oh, this might not be so easy for me to find. Give me a minute. It's worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. Just trust me, it's worth it. If I can find it. If I can find it. Come on. Come on. Why am I not seeing it? Not seeing it. Dang it. I'm almost giving up. I'm almost giving up. I am giving up. Oh, wait, I think I found it. I think I found it. No. I'm getting really annoyed now. Now I'm getting very annoyed. I know this is just like thrilling content. This type of content that like people are like, wow, how do I break away from this? How can I ever break away? All right, I'm not sure if I found it or not. I may have, but we'll see. We're all gonna have to learn this together. Josh Shapiro accuses Harris's vetting team of making disrespectful commentary toward his wife. Remember how Josh Shapiro was almost a running mate instead of Tim Walz? We never would have heard Tim Walz. No one would know anything about Tim Walz, but for the fact that Kamala chose him as her second in command. Pennsylvania governor reveals vetting process included questions he found offensive in his new book, Where We Keep the Light. Okay. Let's check this out. Come on.
In fact, in the vetting, you say.
Really?
At U-Haul, we know every family
Come on, guys.
moves at their own pace.
Is that heavy?
That's why we have U-Box.
Take that to the kitchen.
I hate Fox. God, why are they so bad? I'm gonna get this.
Whoa, looks like you're backing up a bit here. Okay, Luann? Is there a Luann in the house?
Remember, you don't work here. Young homeowners love to get involved. with everything.
Luann going once.
Progressive can't protect you from becoming your parents, but we can protect your home and auto when you bundle with us. Sorry.
Luann.
In fact, in the vetting, you say in the book that you were advised, well, your wife's going to have to get new clothes. She's going to have to pay for hair and makeup. You're going to have to move into the vice president.
I think this is hilarious. So basically, his wife was told she's too trashy. The problem we have with you, Josh, is your wife's too trashy. She dresses like a slob. She looks like a slob. What are we going to do about this?
Presidential, all this stuff, and it seemed like it kind of turned you off.
Look, there were a number of moments in that process where I was asked things, or in the case of what you just said, you know, I thought folks weren't particularly respectful to my wife, that left me really questioning whether this was something I wanted to do.
Was it the job?
Was it the job or the way they worded it?
Or the way the people were asking it?
I think it was all of the above. On the one hand, I was deeply humbled to be asked to go through this process that very few people get to go through. I was honored, truly. I also understood the absolute need to beat Donald Trump, and I wanted to do everything in my power to help. And if being vice president was a way that could be helpful, I wanted to entertain that. I wanted to, you know, go through that process.
But then I learned,
and I think for me, it was the process in part, but also returning to the underlying question: would this be the best way I could serve?
The best way you can serve. He revealed that one of the people questioning him brought up his wife and wrote, she said that he knew we didn't have a lot of money. Come on. God, I hate you, Fox.
Would this be the best way I could serve?
See, this is what Fox does when you try to pause. Brought up his wife and wrote, she said that she knew I didn't have a lot of money and that Laura was going to have to get all new clothes and pay for people to do her hair and makeup. Josh Shapiro revealed his new book, The Kamala Harris Vetting Team, asked him if he was an agent of the Israeli government. That's what they asked him. So basically, when I was running, when I was being vetted, I kind of learned that they don't like Jews. Really don't like the Jews. Not that Democrats are not big fans of the Jews. Big surprise. They assume they're like, oh, you're Jewish. You must have been an agent of Israel. When the light finally goes on, Governor Josh Shapiro said during an interview with CBS Norah O'Donnell on Sunday that former Vice President Kamala Harris' vetting team wasn't respectful with regard to his wife, in addition to other questions he felt were offensive. You say that in your book, your wife was going to have... It's really... I hate you, Fox. Your wife's going to have to get new clothes. She's going to have to pay for her hair and makeup. You're going to have to move into the vice presidential, all this stuff. And it seemed like it kind of turned you off. So we saw him say his number of moments there he didn't like. O'Donnell pressed Shapiro about the process, said that he had written in the book that he felt vetting process was unnecessarily contentious. I wrote both in the book about the vetting process and about the best way I could serve, and it relates all to the vetting process. I thought some of the commentary by my wife was not okay. And I thought asking me if I was a double agent for the Israeli government was kind of offensive. You think? And when I saw this article, it just reminded me of this.
It's so hard to do.
It reminded me of this, which we didn't hit our goal tonight, but I'll still give you this thing that I shared. I actually shared this last week, which I thought was funny.
Chuck Schumer's wife is a dude. Deep inside, you know that it's true. You can try to deny it, but it's so hard to do. Chuck Schumer's wife is a dude.
That's not the song I was looking for. It was a different one. It's a different song. It's a different song. The kazoo solo really is what sells it for me. That's not the song I was looking for. It was a different one. Was it on TikTok?
Chuck Schumer's wife.
This is it.
Oh, Chuck Schumer's wife. Did you ever see such a lady in your entire life? So beautiful and ladylike, her looks could rival old Big Mike. Did you ever see such a specimen as Chuck Schumer's wife? Now I know you got something you want to say, but keep it to yourself, cause that's just your imagination, and this woman is top shelf.
Top
Chuck
shelf?
Schumer's wife. Oh, Chuck Schumer's wife. Did you ever see such a lady in your entire life?
There you go. So that's what I thought of when I was reading this story about Lori, about how the Kamala Harris team felt about Lori Shapiro. Lori Shapiro. In case you haven't seen Lori Shapiro. In case you're unfamiliar with Lori Shapiro, that is Lori Shapiro over here. I see their concerns. I see their concerns. Just saying. I see where they're coming from. I see their concerns. Lori Shapiro. So someone's going to need to do her hair, because this is just not going to cut it for Team Harris. Not going to cut it for them. Yeah. Well, anyhow. I wrote both in the book about the vetting process and about the best way I could serve as it relates to the vetting process. I thought some of the commentary about my wife was not cool, especially when they asked me if I was a double agent for the Israeli government. He wrote in the book that he was asked by former Biden aide Dana Remus if he'd ever been an agent of the Israeli government. And I understand they had a job to ask me those questions. I think it went beyond just checking a box on a questionnaire. So they didn't ask like whether he was double agent for Russia. They didn't ask if he was double agent for like, you know, the UK. No, you're a double agent for Israel. Donna also asked him why he thought he was being asked that question, to which he said he didn't know. I don't know. Why would you ask me? Do you ask everyone that question? Did you ask Tim Walz that question? Are you a double agent for Israel? Did you ask him that question? Did you ask him if he's a double agent for China? I don't want to sit here and ascribe beliefs to others. I can tell you that it landed on me in an offensive way. I've dedicated my entire life to serving this country in different elected capacities, different volunteer capacities. I love this country. And for someone to question that, I question whether you love this question based on how you serve, not based on your lack of foreskin. I'm questioning it based on some of the things you said and done in office. That's what makes me question your love of this country. And for someone to question that, for someone to question my loyalty, particularly as someone who's open about his faith as he is, was offensive to me. Shapiro said he understood people questioning were just doing their job. Yeah. He also explained that when he attempted to talk to Harris about wanting to withdraw himself from consideration, her staff didn't allow it. Can I talk to Kamala? Nope. No questions for Kamala. No one. But I just want to tell her I'm dropping it. Nope. Oh, what a disaster she was. I hope she runs again. He also didn't know if Harris knew if he was asked those questions, particularly about being an agent for Israel. Harris' office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. So there was that. This was when they first reported on this story. That when Kamala Harris wrote in a memo 107 days that Pennsylvania Governor and fellow Democrat Josh Shapiro insisted on being in the room for every decision. That was her complaint about him. If he would become vice president, an angry Shapiro characterized her account as BS and blatant lies, but Shapiro's own forthcoming memoir demonstrates that he's not done getting back at Harris. His book includes the explosive and damaging tale that in the Harris team hostile vice presidential vetting process, he was asked if he was ever an Israeli agent, bringing to mind the ugly association of Jews and dual loyalty. Story is harmful to Harris in a number of ways. It reinforces the existing impression that she and her team were clumsy, but also adds the dimension that they may have been anti-Semitic. May have been? Dude, Democrats hate Jews. Even the Jewish ones. Especially the Jewish ones. The Jewish ones really hate their own Jewishness. I know. There's a lot of Democrat Jews. I know. You don't have to tell me. Joe, what they are? No. It's self-hatred is a thing. Indeed, even Joe Biden's former envoys in the anti-Semitism denounced that Harris team question as horrifying. Shapiro's devastating tales remind of Harris's failure to understand a basic rule of life in the political big leagues. Don't dish it out in your memoirs and get caught unawares when your targets respond. So I thought that was great. I thought that was great. I enjoyed. Here's Kamala acknowledging the recklessness of the Dems' 2024 strategy.
My head was at the time is that it would come off as being completely.
Kamala Harris giving her first major TV interview since losing the 2024 election, all to talk about her new book.
That's right. Harris discussed a wide range of topics from the New York City mayoral election to former President Biden's initial decision to run for a second term, a decision she called reckless.
Oh, he was
When
reckless.
I talk about the recklessness, as much as anything, I'm talking about myself.
I'm talking about myself, but I'm about to throw everyone else under a bus. I'm talking about myself. Let me tell you where everyone else got it wrong.
Much as we know at stake.
As we know.
As I write, the where my head was at the time is that it would come off as being completely self-serving. To be a black woman running.
No. What makes you a black woman? You're not a black woman. You're Caribbean. And you're Caribbean Indian.
Running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it
not
would be
Pete
a real
Buttigieg.
risk. Do you endorse his candidacy? I support the Democrat in the race, sure. But let me just say this. He's not the only star.
Fox News contributor and senior writer for the Washington Examiner, Joe Concha, joins us now. Joe, good morning to you. So that was a compilation of a variety of different topics. She touched on the reckless nature with which she said not encouraging Joe Biden to drop out of the race was. Then she talked about Pete Buttigieg and how she wanted him to actually be her running mate, but there were concerns over the acceptance of his sexuality. And then at the very end, she breezed right past an endorsement for Zoran Mamdani. So what was your reaction to all of this and your headline? What would that be from this interview?
Wow, Carly. Well, I guess we got our 2024 daily diet of Thousand Island word salad again. I mean, Kamala, the human Chernobyl. That would be my headline, because you take her out of a teleprompter and script the remarks, and this is what we get. She said, I'll support the Democrat in the race for New York City mayor. There are 3 Democrats currently running for that job. So I'm not.
So apparently this is an old interview. Apparently. When is this from anyway? When is this from? Who knew that she came out of her shell? I only learned that now. Anyhow, doesn't seem like we're going to get more on her feud with Josh Shapiro, which is really all I wanted from that. So yet again, Fox lets me down. Let it be said, nothing good comes out of Fox. Nothing. And that's what I got for you fine people tonight. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything, because I sometimes do. I want to make sure I didn't miss nothing. Did I miss nothing? Okay, so we're good over here. I got Joe. I got Schwab back over there. Okay, good. And I got checking the ghetto. Do a quick check in the ghetto. We're good in the ghetto. We're good there. I think I covered everything there. All right. 200 watts saying, hope I'm right about the Insurrection Act being invoked. You're just blackpilled now? You shouldn't be. They went after the church people. I have hope. Not giving up until you explain why it's okay that Campbell's chicken soup uses lab-grown meat. I used to have that as a staple food in my diet. Well, you shouldn't, because I'm telling you right now, lab meat was never meant for you. It's meant for they, them. I don't eat Campbell's chicken soup, so I can't tell you. I don't eat any Campbell's. It's not kosher. Probably because of the chicken or the beef or whatever other stuff they put in there. So yes, I can't tell you. I'll just tell you, I've never had Campbell's. And that's one other way I've stayed safe from lab meat, as should you, because it's not meant for you. It's meant for they, them. I've got a driveway that needs to be slow blown at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to land the plane here. I'm just going to remind you, I'll be back here, God willing, tomorrow evening. Please make sure you hit like, subscribe, drop a comment, all that other cool stuff, and catch me over at goodlogic.locals.com. And do not eat the bugs. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't eat the bugs. Have a good night, everyone. As always, Godspeed.